I am the moderator of this meeting. The title of our forum is Ensuring Equal Access to Higher Education for Disadvantaged Groups. Higher education is a key way to change the fate of individuals and families, but disadvantaged groups are often shut out due to economic poverty, lack of information resources, social prejudice, or weak basic education. Supporting them to go to university can not only break the intergenerational transmission of poverty, but also bring breakthrough development to them personally. It can better discover a large number of hidden potential talents for the country and society, promote talent diversity, and drive the society to develop more fairly and dynamically. This is an important cause that invests in both personal hopes and the future of society. All right. May I ask which aspect of the issue you focused on in this forum and why you chose this focus point? Liu Mengxuan.
Yeah, I choose the title is Digital Divide.
Why? Why you choose this focus point?
Okay, I think the biggest I think I choose this we will focus on the digital divided and to attention students study and people in the group help.
What do you think is the biggest difference between online and offline courses?
Okay, I think the biggest difference between online courses and offline courses lie in integration and atmosphere. Online courses very flexible, have abundant resources, and offer more autonomy in learning. But they are relatively weak in integration. So, in contrast, although offline courses are not as free, they can provide students with more directly communication and a classroom atmosphere.
When a teacher's proficiency is insufficient to support online courses, should priority be given to cultivating classroom skills?
All right. I think if a teacher's teaching proficiency is not yet sufficient to support online courses, I believe that the priority should be placed on calculating their teaching ability of offline classrooms. This is because offline classrooms serve as the foundation, so allowing teachers to hone their skills in expression, classroom management, and integration with students. Once these abilities are relatively mature, they can then transition to online teaching, thereby better leveraging digital tools to extend the teaching effectiveness to the online realm.
If anyone have more questions, microphone. Microphone.
Uh, I have four questions. How do you think being excluded from online class due to lack of computers or internet will affect students' future in education opportunities?
Okay, that's a good question. So I want to ask for you. I believe that if students are excluded from online classes due to the lack of computers or internet access, their future educational opportunities will definitely be limited. Long-term lack of learning resources may lead to an increasing widening gap in learning and also affect their competitiveness in terms of further education and employment.
The second question, why do you think the digital divide in education is more serious in low-income countries such as those in Africa?
All right, in my opinion, in low-income countries such as those in Africa, the digital divide is more served for the following two main reasons. So firstly, due to poor economic conditions, many families cannot afford the necessary equipment. And secondly, there is a lack of infrastructure, such as sustainable network coverage and power supply.
The third question, UNESCO suggests using TV and radio as alternatives to online classes. Do you think this really helps students? Why or not?
Okay, as for the proposal made by UNESCO to replace online courses with TV and radio programs, I believe it can help students acquire knowledge to some extent. However, it lacks integration and personalized feedback, and the effect is still limited.
The last question, if resources are limited, should we prioritize helping students or teachers? May I know why?
Okay, it's a difficult question for me, but from a limited experience, I think if resources are limited, I believe we should give priority to assisting students, such as providing equipment and internet access, because even the best teacher training is of no use if students cannot access the courses at all. Only when students can enter the classroom first can it be more valuable to enhance teachers' online teaching abilities subsequently. So this is my answer.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your sharing. And the COVID-19 pandemic revealed the digital divide, leaving millions of students excluded from online learning due to lack of devices and internet, which worsened educational inequality. The digital divide is not just a technical issue, but one of fairness in education, making equal access to quality education essential for all. And may I ask which aspect of the issue you focused on in this forum? Yu Jiaxin.
My focus is on inclusive universities. Students with disabilities have limited opportunity to participation in programs. In higher education, the Erasmus program has helped promote student mobility across Europe. But the participation rate of students with disabilities remains very low. From 2008 to 2013, enrollment only increased slightly, showing that progress in inclusiveness has been low. I chose this topic because of my experience. Last semester, my professor organized an activity is about table manners, while the girl sitting next to me is the only blind people. She through talking with her, I realized that inclusiveness in university is not just abstract idea, but something deeply affects that people around us. On many university, we realize say the presence of such number groups in Asia, the situation is very more concerning. For example, in Malaysia, students with disabilities made up less than 1% of the students' population, and China, the number is even smaller. These figures are far below those in Europe and the United States, highlight the serious gap in inclusive. That's why university must do more. We need better accessibility factors, more scholarships, and greater awareness among both teachers and students. Building truly inclusive universities is not fairness, equality, and human care.
Would it be unfair to ordinary students if the admission standards for people with disabilities were lowered?
It's not about lowering standards, but giving equal opportunities. Accommodations is not just help level and playing field and do not harm ordinary students.
If a student is unable to lead a normal study life due to their own disability, does offering them special courses to some extent affect the learning efficiency of ordinary students?
Special courses support disabled students without affecting others. In fact, many inclusive practices also benefit ordinary students.
If anyone have more questions?
Well, hello, Jiaxin. I have 5 questions to ask you. Firstly, what do you think is the biggest challenges for students with disability in higher education?
Access and integration. Many are excluded even at admission stage, and even if they are enter lack of factors and support makes it harder for them to fully integrate.
Okay, well, the second one is, why did you perhaps the situation in Asian country?
Because the participation rate is much lower than in Europe and the USA.
Well, the third one is, what role has the ERA program played in this issue?
It promotes mobility, but still include very few students with disabilities.
Okay. The last one is, does an inclusive university mean for non-disabled students?
Benefits everyone. It creates a fair and more open learning environment, and for non-disabled students, it builds diversity of thought and a stronger sense of social responsibility. That's my answer.
Thank you for your answers.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for your sharing. And our member in the classroom experience made realize that universities need to provide more attention and opportunities for disadvantaged groups to enjoy eco-learning experience. Yes. Then, may I ask which aspect of the issue you focused on in this forum, Liu Yu?
Well, the aspect I chose to focus on is the graduate labor market outcomes of disadvantaged students in Australia. And I chose this topic because educational inequality is not only about access to university, but also about the outcomes in the labor market after graduation. Research in Australia shows that although disadvantaged groups have greater access to higher education, they still lag behind in terms of employment rates, salaries, and job types. This highlights a gap between educational opportunity and true social equality. The top is directly connected to the essay of SDG 4 and encourage deeper reflection on whether education truly challenges life trajectories. Yes.
You have chosen the research results from Australia. Can this cover the problems in most regions?
Okay, I think the search from Australia is a very useful case, but it doesn't not mean the problem only exists there. In fact, similar issues can be found in many regions. For example, in our own countries, there is also a clear gap between urban and rural students. City students usually have access to better schools, resources, and networks, while disadvantaged students, even if they reach university, still face difficulties in finding good jobs. So while the Australia case is specific, but it reflects a global challenges. Disadvantaged groups often get access to higher education and still face barriers in the labor market. This means the research can be used in evidence, but we also need to compare with local situation to make it more complete.
Do you think academic qualifications can help the employment of disadvantaged groups?
Yes, I believe academic qualifications are important, but they are not enough on their own. A degree can open the door for disadvantaged students, giving them access to jobs that require certain qualifications. Without it, many of them would have no chance at all. However, we also see that a degree doesn't fully remove inequality. Disadvantaged graduates may still lack soft skills, professional networks, and internship experience, which are often equally important in the job market. So while education is a powerful tool, we also need to support systems like mentorship, career training, and fair securement policy to really help them. In short, qualifications can help, but they must be combined with broader support to truly make a difference.
All right, if anyone have more questions.
So Liu Yu, I want to ask you some questions about your topic. So the first one is, do you think that education equality only means the access to the university? Why?
Okay, well, I don't think educational equality only means getting into university. Of course, admission is important, but that's just the first step. Truly equality also means having equal support during study, fair resource, and equal challenges after graduation. For example, in Australia, even though more disadvantaged students can now enter university, they still fall behind in job salary and promotion. So if we only look at admission rates but ignore what happened later, then we haven't really achieved fairness. For me, real equality means students from any background can compete equally in the labor market.
Okay, the second question. So what do you think are the main reasons why the labor market is unfair to disadvantaged graduates?
Well, in my opinion, there are several reasons. First, many advantaged students don't have strong social networks. Employer often dedicate with connections, so this creates inequality. Second, they may lack internships experience because they can't afford unpaid work or don't have access to the same opportunity as wealthier students. Third, there is still hidden projectors. Some employers may rejudge based on background, not abilities. So I think the unfairness is not only about skills, but also about resource and opportunity. If we want to solve them, society needs to provide fairness, access to internships, scholarships, and equal treatment during recruitment. Yes.
Okay, good. So last question. If this inequality in education and employment continues, what impacts do you think it will have on society?
If this problem continue, I think the impact will be very serious. First, many young people will feel discouraged and hopeless because they study hard and but they still can't get good jobs. Secondly, it will make social inequality worse, as rich families keep getting richer while disadvantaged families stay poor. Third, it could even lead to social tensions. For example, frustrations among young graduates may cause disability or loss of trust in the education system. That's why I think solving this problem is not only important but individuals for the future of the whole society. Education should be a tool to reduce inequality, not to reproduce it. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks for your sharing. This indicates that the expansion of educational opportunities doesn't equal employment equity, and thus more supportive measures are needed to ensure true educational equity. May I ask which aspect of the issue you focused on in this forum and why you chose this focus point, Liu Yi?
Okay, so for my aspect titles, I choose mental health in online learning. So in the COVID-19 pandemic, the students were forced to the studying online because of the COVID-19. So that's make a lot reported. Many students report they feeling anxious and disconnected, and also some bad spirits. These mental health changes made it harder for them to keep up with their classes and also their homework and so on for their study, especially for the disadvantaged students who lack of the support system. So I found some sentence from the articles. Have one sentence says, I just don't have too motivation to or drive to do anything. I try to do the work, but I get distracted or fall asleep. So this sentence shows the biggest challenges students to face in online learning, the lack of the motivations, and it highlights how students often cannot stay focused, which directly affects their academic performance and the mental health. So about why I choose this topic, because I choose it because it shows the student spirits in the online learning. Some students feel not good, and some students think can use this time to play some games or to use the social media to let them more happy. So that will lead them study will be more lower, and also they will affect by the social media. Yeah, that's all my sharing.
Thank you. And do you think that offline courses will definitely relieve the psychological problems of students?
I think not necessary, because the wide offline course can increase face-to-face interactions and reduce the feeling of the loneliness, which helps relieve some mental stress. The root cause of physiological as a problem may include the academic pressures and the family environments or the personal problems. So I think the offline course only cannot fully solve the mental health issues. Yeah, so that's.
If anyone have more questions?
Okay, so I have two questions for you. So the first one is, how much do you think online learning affect students' mental health and why?
So I think so firstly is online learning has a significant impact on student mental health. Studying alone for long periods can lead to feeling loneliness and anxious. The lack of face-to-face interaction may also make the student feel stressed and isolated, especially for the student with weaker self-management skills. It may cause a lack of motivations and some stress.
Okay, the last one question is, how common do you think feelings of loneliness and anxiety are in students' online learning experience?
Yeah, I think the feeling of loneliness and anxious are very common in online learning, because many students report a lack of the campus lives and social activities makes it difficult to focus and sometimes affect their sleep and also the daily routines. So this mental pressures was particularly noticed during the pandemic. Yeah, that's all my issue.
Okay, I think good answer.
Yeah, thank you.
At this point, our group's discussion has come to an end. Thank you all for your participation.